I know all of you probably enjoyed the recorder sound in your homes, and you're probably glad that they were moving on to 4th grade, and you won't hear that sound all the time. They've been working hard, and Mr. Reeve is our new music teacher, only been with the students since January. This week we celebrate the fine arts at Pembroke. We do it all year long, but we dedicate this week to really recognizing the creativity in our kids in the arts and music. So it's really exciting. It's been a busy week probably for parents and for us, but it's been a fun week, because anytime we hear the musical kids in the hallways, or we see the artwork, it puts a smile on our face. And we understand that's why we do the work we do every day. Charlie is here from the local cable, so for people that don't have cameras today, you can always see it on TV, and they'll be on local TV. And I know they've been working hard, so enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 3rd grade recorder players. So before we begin, just a little bit about at least what I think of as what the students have been learning in recorder and music. I'll talk a little bit about the pieces, of course, what they're about musically, but I think it's also important to think about what they've been thinking about within a musical context. As we work together. Our first tune is probably our hardest. This is the legendary Turkey Blues. I say it's the hardest mostly because the students were never given music for this song. They first sang it, and then they figured out how to play it on the recorder with me only giving them a few parameters. I told them the starting note, I told them the pitch content, meaning I told them that it was made up of the notes G, A, and B, which has formed kind of the meat of our recorder playing thus far. And I feel like this is an important song, mostly because it allowed the students to connect their singing voices, which is something familiar to them. They've been singing ever since, in many cases, they've been, 18 months or so. But this has been most of their first experience with connecting that singing voice to to an instrument. So they first learned how to sing it, then just through experimentation, they worked on just kind of figuring out what the notes were, trial and error, saying it's this many notes, or it goes higher here, it goes lower there, and basically have had to use their brains in a different way than they would have ordinarily up to this point, where rather than reading something, they're just sort of learning it more organically. Also, a quick note, this tune is not exactly in season. I think you'll know why when you hear them sing the text. This next piece is entitled Big Bass Drum, so I'd like to ask Big Bass Drum Special Job people to come down to the front of the stage. Big Bass Drum Special Job people. One thing the students have learned in performing this tune is that when you see the letters B-A-S-S, it is not necessarily bass. It's not the big bass drum. They're not hitting a gigantic fish, although that could be maybe next concert. Instead, they're hitting the bass drum. So, a little bit of literacy learning there. But I feel like, musically speaking, this tune requires the students to use a lot of repetition. A lot of learning, not just musical, of course, requires repetition to let concepts and coordination sink in. So you're about to hear the students do this tune 10 times. Now, the hook, though, has been, you'll hear these students lined up to my right play on the bass drum as the other students are playing. So you'll hear them whack away at that thing, which is kind of a cool addition of sound, but it also sort of gives the students a different place to put their focus. So doing the tune 10 times doesn't seem like such a chore, because they're focusing on something else. It's almost like throwing a curveball and a fastball is expected, I suppose. Anyway, also this tune is made up of our 3 notes G, A, B, which are important ones because musically speaking, we think of that as a do-based system. What I mean by that is when the students are playing this, they're playing the pitches. Yeah, they're trained well. But basically, those 3 pitches, even though we're calling them do, re, and mi, all the music that they hear on the radio, all the songs that they sing, in our culture are do-based. So by playing a tune that is comprised of those 3 pitches, it prepares the students to listen to music that they'll encounter throughout their lives, and also play it later should they continue their musical careers. Would merrily Eau Claire people please come to the special job locations? This next tune is a mashup of 2 common folk tunes. They'll probably be recognizable, but the concept that I talked a little bit about is that you're hearing these students play in a group, of course, but really they're on the hook for their own musicianship. Because I feel like that's where, in 3rd grade particularly, that's where most of their learning occurs, not necessarily in the group context, but what they're learning individually. So you might notice on many of their recorders these little pieces of yarn. That's part of our system of recorder karate, where at the end of each class, the students just select a song they'd like to do, and if they play it sufficiently well, they collect a belt, and they can collect basically an infinite number of belts should they choose. I think there's a couple black belt people here. Now there's some people that have their blue belts, orange belts, lots of white belts, lots of yellow belts. But to the end of the year, it's something we'll continue, where students will have a chance to grow musically at their own pace, selecting songs to do for recorded variety. To kind of illustrate this a little bit, there are a few soloists that are going to play on this tune, so you'll hear both the entire grade and also smaller groupings of students in a similar way as to the way we do recorded karate at the end of each class time we have together. Bunny Bun Showdown, if you'll please step down. So this is a treatment of the worldwide hit Hot Cross Buns with a little bit of a twist. You'll hear students play the song, you'll hear them sing a version of the song, you'll also hear these students in front play the song on percussion instruments. One thing that the students have been asked to do throughout this year, and all their songs really, is to not just focus on their own music making, not only to focus on the music making of those that are around them, but also to engage with me visually. It's something that's really common for, especially more sophisticated music making, where a lot of the music happens via nonverbal cues. So throughout this tune, the students will know about their stops and starts by watching me, and to a degree also watching one another, and that's a concept they'll certainly expand on with later music making, whether it's singing in a chorus, playing in a band, playing with peers in a rock band later, or any permutation there of music making. We'll play Bunny Bun Showdown in just a second. Two quick details. First, on the reverse of your programs is a little blurb from the Georgetown music parents to get involved with that fine organization. They provide support for all things music in the Georgetown Public Schools. We can thank them for the risers that the students are standing on, and a few other projects that they've contributed to here at Pembroke. They're also active at the high school as a town-wide organization, so please, if you feel the itch to get involved with the music program here in Georgetown, please contact the people that are on that reverse side. Also, I'd like to recognize Superintendent Carol Jacobs, who's with us this morning, off to my left, attending this concert. We even let her in for free today. Not many people know that. But anyway, this is Bunny Bun Showdown. so much for joining us this morning. Just a quick FYI, students are under strict orders to, actually I told them, I hope this doesn't upset anybody, but I told them when they came on stage to pretend like they didn't know you, just so that way they wouldn't be distracted. Now they can pretend at least a little bit, but we do ask that, that at this point students are going to go back into the music room through this door. So if you'd like to say hi, please do so either from your seats or come a little closer to the stage, and students will line up in the music room without coming down off the stage at this time. Thanks very much. Enjoy the weekend.